Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back to Darksiders 2 Deathinitive Edition. I first want to apologize if the audio was a little too loud in the first two episodes. My setup is just weird. Really, really weird. The audio to the game sounds effectively twice as loud to me as it does on the recording. I have no reason to explain this. No solution I can find. I've bumped up to this issue several times, and usually I can get close. It's been a few days since the first almost hour of gameplay, and the game locked up by just being left paused, which isn't unnormal for video games on PC. If you or at least on my PC, if I leave a game for more than a few hours paused, it does kind of just get frozen, locked up. Who knows why? Probably has something to do with the RAM and the page file, if I was to guess. So we're back at the menu, and we're going to get a story so far. But this is really going to have to be the only story so far we ever see, or probably ever see, because it's not worth it at all to exit the game, reload the game, watch the near minute of logos of unskippable logos as the game is loading up, just to see the story so far, cutscenes that don't really work. The Witcher 3 also had this, so I guess The Witcher 3 stole this idea from games like this. It doesn't get seen enough, though. It's not worth your animation budget. So we may be a little bit further behind too, because I didn't save, or maybe I did save before it crashed. Sweet.
So far, in the beginning, death sought the Crowfather, but what he found was something more. A secret once forgotten, a path to another world.
So the thought has to be that either the loading to get from the Windows load to this menu is either going to be the same speed, which is believable, or it's going to get longer and longer the further we go along in the game, which doesn't make any sense at all. So I assume then all of these story so far things all have to be about 30 seconds or so of content, which will not really make that much sense later on in the game. Alright, so we are here back to this main area. Let's see. And really didn't get enough time to even lock in on the controls. So I'm having to return to this. Here we've got a maker woman, world maker, shopkeeper, lady, mage, dwarf. I don't know. Like, I guess you couldn't call them dwarfs, but they look like giant dwarfs to me.
Many know the Reaper, Old One, but I don't know you.
We are the builders of this world.
Builders.
Corruption seethes at its heart.
Like druids.
Destroys in days what we shaped over eons. Adar does his best to soothe our pain, but our souls yearn for only one comfort: death. We are without hope.
So we've got different options before we talk to her. So let's start with the simplest thing. What are you doing?
Despair, Old One, and yet raise life from the earth.
I am a shaman, bound to this task even as our days darken. We are as the vines, coming to root, then to flower, and then to decay, dropping seeds upon the dust. A circle everlasting. I cannot stop it.
So
Nor can I stop you?
it's worth mentioning he's going for the Tree of Life, where War found the Tree of Knowledge of Good and Evil, I believe, in Eden in the first game. Two separate trees, they get mixed up in people's heads, according to the Bible stories. You can see her scroll is just clipping through her clothes. It would be kind of funny if, I mean, since everything is on a different planet, everything could be out of scale. Death could be really, really short. These could be normal-sized humans. And I have the funny feeling that there was another blindfolded character in the first game, and that they're like reusing elements, but maybe, maybe not. I know there was a angel lady, but I don't know if she was blind at any point or not.
Tell me more about the Tree of Life.
The forest around the tree has been corrupted. It hungers. You cannot reach the tree, not with breath still in you. The path of a brother troubles you. It is your past, but also your future.
Mori, the Maker Shaman, gave you this pauldron. The path to the brother troubles you. She said it is your past, but also your future. What's interesting is there was no voice acting there, so I wonder if this is DLC stuff.
Stone, wood, iron, these are the gifts of the makers.
Like, Death didn't say anything there.
Tell me, Shaman, what is...
And see, his lips
I only know
aren't even shown, so you don't really have to animate it.
corruption is hate given life, and that hate does not come from trees or stones, but from ourselves.
I wonder if maybe the corruption came about because of something war did.
Horseman, do you ever doubt your future?
No.
So one like yourself would set out to change a fate that displeases him. That is a long and dangerous path, even for Death himself.
How is that your concern, Shaman?
Only that I am skilled at crafting talismans. If you gather the proper materials...
So this is a quest.
I'll make a potent talisman to aid you on your journey.
One that probably
Stalker's bone,
stops me from
mortal dew,
dying.
carve in stone.
Revives
It is
me,
not a simple charm.
I imagine.
Where can I find them?
Somewhere in the Forge lands. I rarely leave Tristone, but that pup Khan is always out exploring. He can tell you more, no doubt.
So, wow, that sounded so much like the Fallout 4 you gained a quest sound.
There are new talismans for you to browse.
So, all kinds of talismans that are going to increase things, but they're just stats. I'm not seeing anything here that gives you anything super special. And since these are all stat based and this game is designed to be played over and over again, that seems unlikely that any of these talismans are ever going to be important. I could sell this axe, certainly, and this hammer, and the pauldron of the Horseman needs to be equipped, not sold. This wrap I can sell.
Offer this to the forest.
And so it's giving me like 20 gold to start off with. I would have preferred if some of this loot garbage was starting at 1. You can enable auto loot by changing the auto collect option in the menu, and I already did that.
As you reap, I will sow. The same
And she just gets quieter. Yeah. Could be that Death is just really, really small, and this is that tree is the size of a normal tree instead of a giant tree that is covering up the whole land. Let's see. Scythe is the scythe that is equipped. This is what that is equipped. I guess you can't unequip a scythe. Pauldron of the Horseman, level 5. I'm level 2, so I cannot equip this yet. Which, maybe in the new Game Plus they would figure out that would go up to like a level 50 or something. There's an achievement for beating this game on every difficulty, which makes me assume, or at least hope, that means if I beat it on the first try at every difficulty, I would get all the achievements. But for me, since I'm just going to play this on easy, and this really even though it's designed to be played multiple times, isn't a game that deserves that. I'm just gonna assume I'm not gonna get all the achievements. My inbox is empty. It's like a messaging system. Boy, is that old school. This might have been a direct connection to your, like, Xbox Live messages. So, now we've got a couple more of these creators. Big guys. There was an artist in the 70s who loved to draw big, muscly women, and himself as a scrawny, small guy. I think he actually was a scrawny, small guy. I'm probably suddenly reminded of him. Let's talk to this lady.
Maker's beard. The rumors are true. A horseman in the Forge lands. The name's Alia, and that's my brother Valis. We are the keepers of this forge, though I reckon that means less now than once it did.
This is a Maker's Forge.
Nay, the Maker's Forge is lost to us, silenced by the hands of corruption. But in its depths we once crafted the dark towers of hell and the cities of heaven.
Now you make trinkets.
And you, one of the four, now seek the aid of the Makers? I guess we've all fallen from high places.
I came here seeking the tree, and your elder speaks of fire. What is it?
Aye, the fire of the mountain, the Stonefather's blood. It once flowed into our forge, as did the tears. Both imbued our craft with incredible power. The heart and the soul of stone.
So we're gonna have to collect all of those things. The fire and the tears.
The way to the tree is lost, barred by corruption. You can no more leave this place than we. Restore our forge, and the tree can be reached.
I don't follow your reasoning.
We are makers, not warriors. But we are not without our weapons. Before the forge was lost, we crafted a mighty creature of soul and stone. Colossus to fight this corruption. But to awaken him
We
requires
saw
the Maker's key.
several
We need our forge to craft
Colossuses in the first game, I think. Unless they're describing something different. Let's just start at the top here about the cauldron.
What is this cauldron?
a temple built in the shadow of Stonefather's peak. There the fire of the mountain was harnessed and passed into our forge. Ride east of town, ride through the charred pass and towards the cindery peak of the Stonefather. There you will find the cauldron.
So we're getting a lot of story right now, but it's gonna kind of go away as soon as we actually get out of this area.
Man of no words, your brother.
But hardly silent. His voice is the ring of the hammer and the roar of the white flame.
He's just punching that sword.
He works while you talk. I may have need of a blade.
Is your need greater than ours, Horseman? I think not. We fight for the survival of our realm and our kin. Prove worthy, and mayhaps we can do business.
So they're not even gonna let me use the sword
Fare thee well.
until, like, I can't even use the sword until it decides I'm worthy. And there's a sewer here and some more sewers, so I bet water flows through that at some point. I guess I could try to open that, but I think the idea is that if I was to go in there and look, at best I'm gonna find some collectible, and that's kind of it. Instead, we go this way and speak. This is a big area. You can see a major problem with just trying to traverse such a big area with nothing to do. So we can break these and maybe get something collectible. And we could talk to this guy, I guess, before we talk to the other guy.
The fire is more valuable than I, Horseman. You should make haste to the temple.
So it seems almost like once you have the conversation, you can't have it a second time. Maybe if you have a second conversation with them, it will remind you of a few things.
Fire alone won't save forge.
Aye. Without the fire and the tears of the mountain, without the forge itself, we have no means to clear the forest and reach the tree of life.
What then?
Our power is over creation, yours over death and despair. You are Nephilim, Lord of Destruction. Perhaps in that there is hope.
It's funny they would call him Lord of Destruction because that's what, like, the name of Diablo was in the Diablo games, and not death.
Just how old is the forge?
It is as ancient as the realm itself, and perhaps even older. It is said the forge was the first thing we makers built, that in its depths we shaped entire worlds.
So it's like this planet possibly is where Earth was made, and heaven and hell was made. This gets into some weird pre-myth stuff, I suppose. Yeah, and I kind of would like an experience with trying to kill the Nephilim, like a prequel game to the series. But I guess we'll be lucky if we even get a Darksiders 4. We've got to wait till see if Darksiders 3 even succeeds, and THQ manages not to bankrupt itself. I already heard this line. So he says the same line of dialogue I already had with him.
But you must for your kin, old one. For mine, I ride to the cauldron.
Horseman, you'll find not that way, but trouble. If you fancy your corruption waist deep, that's as good a place as any. You know, there's a reason this gate is here. And if you were a friend, I wouldn't have let you pass. But then, who is friend to death?
Tell me the cauldron secrets.
Have you wisdom to share, or was it long since knocked loose in battle?
Wisdom ain't like teeth. I've plenty left. Enough to stay clear of the cauldron. The ancients filled it with right nasty traps. But
Interesting.
one so clever as yourself will surely elude them.
Now this is interesting because I don't want to train, and I guess you just hit B. I guess that's all there really is to it. And he's rolling the door open for us, and we can actually get into the game. It's been nearly 29 minutes of conversations. Let's see. Doesn't look like there's anything that way. Doesn't look like there's anything here. Often you'll see in movies and TV and video games, a lot in video games, a early section where you're fighting and jumping and letting the player actually control things, which is good. But the unfortunate issue here is that they didn't put us in a poor position. Doesn't seem like I can just... Let's see, hold Y to swim down. And here we go. Boatman coins can be traded with the merchant Volgrim for unique items. So we are going to deal with Volgrim. What was that tooltip to swim up? It was the A button. And we can just slide our way over here. This is an old enough game where there might be something hidden in plain sight. Like that corner over there. There might be some item. And the first game did have that whole element of a shadow vision that we unlocked later on. But then this isn't the action-adventure style game that the first game was. You weren't really expected to get all the collectibles or do everything in this game, because I was just expected you to play a second time. So there'll be a little bit of a split there, I suppose, as far as the Volgum coins that are important and one-time collectibles in the game, and the loot that is just going to be constantly dropped by enemies. The camera, well, we do have this targeting mode that we'll probably use later. Camera is not zoomed in enough. And I realized the reason why the heads-up displays are so big and taking up so much of the screen is because this game was originally made for non-HD screens. So let's see, like all of this menu here is taking up the whole screen and is this big because it would have to have been that big in a non-HD resolution. However, playing it at 1080p, which is, I mean, just standard HD, you know, these things can be a lot smaller. So we can ride our horse, and can we look at the map just to give a brief introduction. We were at Tristone. We were here at Tristone and the Forge goes to the Foundry and makes a whole level. We're at the Stonefather's Vale. There's something that goes up this way. There's a Lost Temple, the Nook, the Bane's Wood, the Charred Path. That's where we're going to find the Cauldron. And over here we have the Shadow Gorge that will go this way. So the path you can see is pretty circular. You walk out here, we're going to go in a wide loop this direction to reach this, to walk out this way, I'm pretty sure, and then we'll do a wide loop to go this direction and walk out that way. Maybe there's a map location here. There's definitely a map location here, and this is the Tree of Life. Maybe there's nothing here. Maybe there's nothing here. A lot of a map, a lot of a fake world. And one assumes that if you just get too close, this corruption is going to do something. It'll laser beam eye you or attack you or just nothing at all. Yeah, you just can't defeat it. That's a simplistic solution. It's a technical marvel, certainly, that you can make a world this big where you could ride around the horse. This is an attempt at something like Ocarina of Time with modern graphics. But it's also a really boring, empty area. Like, maybe there's a collectible somewhere. Maybe hidden in that field, but maybe not. And then you come down these paths, which one can easily assume was loading sections, places designed to hide loading. Wow, the lighting just changed completely. Look at the rocks here. Look at the rocks here. It's like totally different post effects and lighting on that. I wonder if this is the remastered War Mastered Definitive Edition that caused that, or if that was something more along the lines of the way the game was before. I really don't know how much to run around and search. Probably don't need to do too much of this. Like, we need a key like we needed before, except for previously the keys were these knives that would stab into the eyes of the of these eyeball demons. They've kind of gotten away from the demonic into now just the fantastical, which, I mean, that's just not gonna work. It really is not gonna work for a game where it's the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. If this blinking continues to happen after we walk into the next area, I think we're gonna have to consider doing something different. Here we have Volgrim. So this is happening, if you've played the first game, which you should have, before the point where Volgrim, let's just say, probably dies.
Greetings, Horseman, and welcome. I've been expecting you.
So we would need some other kind of character to replace him, probably, in any story that takes place past the first game.
So here I am to offer my wares.
You know that I don't. I'm not here by choice, demon.
I merely followed the trail of carnage. Your blades are as sharp as ever. Even still, I may be able to help you. I carry things others would frown upon.
So yeah, Volgrim's clearly
Take a look.
a demon of some sort.
Disappointed.
And in the first game, you had these Volgrim shortcuts that you could use, which means that Volgrim probably could take you back to Earth right now, which would... why? I guess he would want to do that right now. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but it could certainly have interconnected. It could have interconnected the areas between the first game and the second game and made this twice as big of a game. Let's see. So we could buy loot boxes. Yay! Everybody loves loot boxes, right? A gilded box for 1,001 or silver, 1,000 gold, 1 silver, 2 currencies. This clearly, if it has 2 currencies, was a game that was thinking about having microtransactions, which would have been really early days. Or you can respec. This feels like THQ forced this idea down the throats of Vigil Games. Like, I don't ever really believe that somebody would intentionally make such a bad system for the gameplay with just random drops, even though that's what this game is. This pretty much implies that there is an infinite amount of silver. There's nothing to sell, there's nothing else to buy. The only thing, maybe this legendary artifact is a legacy artifact, a sacrificial artifact from unknown origins. This might be some kind of DLC or important item.
Another time, demon.
Until then, perhaps you'll grant me a small indulgence. There are pages missing from the Book of the Dead. I believe many lie along your path.
So we get another quest.
Lend to me. Your reward will be substantial.
And so will be my damnation.
So there's like 10 pages for the first chapter. And there's literally nothing to do with Volgrim. Like, you can't do anything with him right now. He has no point to be in the game. And I'm just hoping that when we walk through this next load section, this will stop with the lighting effects and that we don't see that anywhere else. But for a definitive edition, that seems like that's quite the oversight. Yeah, I'm not seeing any lightning bugs now. Quite the oversight. We're pretty early in the game. Interesting. This guy, this corrupted guy, scared away my horse. So we now know you can't just outride people. Interesting. Level 2 corrupted. There's some items. Item up here I can collect. Use my magical arms that make no sense. Why can I not pick this up? Interesting. Oh, because I had health. What, that's interesting. And there's something here, but I don't even have the ability to shoot anything, so unless I can double jump or fly or something, I can't break that item, whatever that is. Interesting. And where are we now in the map? Seems like we have all these quests, and game says we've been playing for an hour and 10 minutes, and honestly I would put about 40 minutes of that towards just talking to people. Seems like we can fast travel with the X button to that point, and fast travel to that point, and fast travel to this point, so you don't even have to play the game after you've gotten to a certain point. And it seems like, yeah, for the beginning it is probably the right move just to go down the charred path and ignore the scar, ignore everything. It seems like we're gonna go in circles quite a few times. Haven't gotten a skill point, probably haven't done very much battling at all. Here we have an increased critical chance, so we might as well equip that, but we're not really getting XP very fast. I have 280 of 450 to level up. We really need to jump into a game here that is slowing us down. It's a real slow start. I did not remember it being this slow. We can go ahead and save just in case the game crashes between this recording and the next. And that's going to be it for this recording. Again, sorry if the audio sounded too loud. It should have sounded right on this recording. I'm going to go back and listen to it just to be double certain. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below in the description box. If you want to support me, gift me a game on Steam. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.